The film's about a prison parole officer that Robert De Niro plays, who kind of judges whether he thinks people have authentically transformed their lives, and he's approaching retirement, and he has one final case with a prisoner who he's got to review that I play, who's coming up for parole and is very desperately looking to get out, and it's really about kind of the dance between these guys as one tries to convince the other that he's changed his life, and an exploration of what is authentic spiritual transformation.
And the one thing I always love about watching you on screen is I never kind of see Edward Norton. I'm always seeing a character, somebody different in every single movie. And I think one of the reasons is because you always do an interesting accent, a different tone to your voice. You have a very raspy tone, which almost sounded like it could hurt your voice. Where do you come up with these things?
Well, in this case, I had the opportunity to interview some of the inmates in this prison north of Detroit, and one of them had that kind of quality to his voice. I thought it was really fascinating. Made him very hypnotic to me. So, and also in a way kind of vulnerable. He was scary, but also just sort of fascinating. And I think that the film, the character that I play, he's very strange and very elusive in the beginning. He's using his wife to try to manipulate the officer in some ways and seduce him, and and yet something authentic starts to happen in him. So there's a lot of contradictory qualities to the character, which is what I liked about him.
Well, and your wife in it, Mila Jovovich, I think this could be easily a breakout role for her. I mean, she really is just amazing.
Yeah, Mila is astonishingly great in this film. She's really, if you've only seen her in like Resident Evil or something like that, she's a revelation. She's really, really. It's a beautiful and strange and wonderful performance.
And did you guys sit down and have conversations about how you both were going to interact with each other? What's the process when you go?
We all rehearsed and talked a lot. The director of this film I had done another film with called The Painted Veil, and it was great to work with him again. It was great to work with De Niro again. When you know people, you get into a kind of a shorthand with them and a nice rhythm. And Mila fit right into that. I had seen her in a film of Spike Lee's called He Got Game that I thought she was brilliant in, and I got John to check it out, the director, and that's how it came to pass. But she's really, really great in it. She's not just beautiful. She creates a very disturbing and strange character in this film.
Well, and like you said, you've worked with Robert De Niro once before, right, on the score, and. I understand, I've heard you call him weird in other interviews. I was just curious, how is Robert De Niro weird?
I mean, I've said it to him too. I mean, it's said with the greatest respect. I guess what I mean is he's obviously, when you saw the Kennedy Center Awards this year, that he was, he's got a career among the greatest of all of America's film artists. He's been an icon of great acting to many of us for our whole lives, and but I don't think his approach to things is very unique, and very there's nobody like him, and I think because he's not like a talkative guy. It's just different with him. It's different. He knows I call him a weirdo, but he's great.
But when do you get to the point, because I would think with Robert De Niro, a little intimidating, but so when do you get to the point where you can be like, Bob, hey Bob?
Well, it is weird. I still can't really, I mean, there's kind of the guy I know as a human, and then there's the actor who I respect. But he puts people very much at ease. He's a very quiet and very clinical and precise actor. And the thing is, in this, in many ways, we both knew that the nature of the story was that in some ways my character is a much more aggressive character than his. His character is a very is very intense, but a very quiet and Stone-like kind of guy who studies other people and who the things that are going on in his life, his dysfunctional marriage and his drinking and his losing of his faith in his own religion and his own faith in God is a very it's an incredibly subtle portrait he's creating in this film of a person whose life is starting to slip into instability, and it's not kind of just the cliche of De Niro as the tough guy. It's a really, really amazing portrait of a person confronting getting older and spiritual crisis. I think while also kind of being a little bit of a film noir, but I think he's a master, and I think what he does in this film is kind of I think it's one of his great performances in many years.
Yeah, I would agree. And I also want to talk about your other movie, Leaves of Grass, which opens in Austin today. Talk about, this is the first time you've played twins, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It couldn't be more different from Stone. It's a kind of a rollicking comedy. It's about twin brothers, one of whom is a professor in the Ivy League, and the other one is a good old boy in southern Oklahoma who's kind of growing hydroponic grass, and it's really fun and funny. We premiered that film at South by Southwest this spring, and it was like, I really, in our wildest fantasies, we could not have had a better time at a festival showing this film. Like, the response was so great, and not just from Harry Knowles and people like that, your local film gurus, but the street, the folks, just off the street were so welcoming to it. And so actually, when they said what city should we open it in, we kind of insisted that we should do it in Austin. So we're really excited. It's opening this weekend in Austin. We hope people will come out.
Yeah, because I remember seeing the audience, and everyone was cracking. It was like laughter throughout the entire movie.
I think and in a weird way, like, I know like places like Austin sometimes get it after New York and LA. Like, Austin's getting it before LA. So if people in Austin show up, the rest of the country might get to see it.
Well, and talk about having to play those two characters and kind of play off each other, and you're also a producer on the movie. So talk about that aspect.
It was fun. It was unlike every movie's different, and that was a technical challenge that was really a fun puzzle to work out how to make two characters who are talking, seem real. You don't want it to just go line. So you try to make it so that they're interrupting each other and overlapping each other, and we even achieved some moving shots, which was kind of pioneering, I think. But mostly it was technical. But it's fun to mix it up. I like to do something different on everyone if I can, and that was hilarious and smart. And Stone was very, very intense and dramatic, and I think disturbing. I think a lot of people have told us that they woke up the next day still thinking about the film and trying to sort out what all its themes were, and so that's nice too. I like to hit different targets.
Well, without a doubt, I mean, completely different characters, without a doubt. Well, and you take your films to so many festivals all over the country, the world. Talk about what you think of Austin's film festivals. You're here for South by, Fantastic Fest. Yeah. What are the differences?
I think Austin, this is my first time at Fantastic Fest, so I don't really know. But, I would say actually one of the reasons I said, sure, let's take it. I didn't know about Fantastic Fest, but I was enthusiastic just because of the experience we've had at South by Southwest, because the community here is so grounded and obviously really into the films. A lot of us have talked about it. I was here at South by Southwest with Jonah Hill because he had his film and he's a friend of mine, and we were going around and seeing films, seeing each other's films and seeing other films, and walking around between the bars, and people are so people are friendly, they're chill, like they're obviously not really kind of bugging out on the celebrity quality of it. They're really excited about the films, and when you do Q&As, people ask smart questions, and I just enjoy it. I think it's a great environment.
So what's up next for you?
Well, Stone will come out in New York and LA on the 8th, and then the rest wider on the 22nd. I think it's to Austin on the 22nd. So I'll be working on that until we get it out, and then I'm working on a project about Lewis and Clark. Brad Pitt and I are trying to produce a big miniseries for HBO about Lewis and Clark.
Wow. Will you both be starring in it, or just?
At the moment, we're just trying to sort of get it up as a production, and we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we haven't made any decisions about the cast.
Have you guys done anything together since Fight Club?
No, we've been looking. So, we'll find something.
You guys were great.
It's fun.
Awesome. Thank you for
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
in. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.